Welcome back to Wrestling Impact, the channel where the biggest stories in professional wrestling come alive. Now, before we get into today's video, I need you to do something for me. I need you to sit down, take a breath, and brace yourself. Because what went down on SmackDown this past week was not just a wrestling moment. It was a moment that will be talked about in locker rooms, in arenas, in living rooms, and in comment sections for months to come. The kind of moment where you freeze, you rewind, you watch again, and your jaw still hits the floor every single time. Logan Paul, the most valuable player. The man who turned professional wrestling upside down the moment he laced up his boots. The man who walked into WWE with a chip on his shoulder the size of a mountain and somehow backed up every single word he ever said. Logan Paul has been on a warpath. A calculated, ice-cold, cinematic warpath. But lately, something has been off. Something dark has been following him. Something that nobody could explain. And this past Friday on SmackDown, all of that darkness finally had a face. Let's go back. Let's go all the way back to where this mystery began, because if you want to understand the magnitude of what happened on Friday night, you have to understand how deep this rabbit hole goes. It started about 6 weeks ago. Logan Paul was in the middle of one of the most dominant runs of his WWE career. He was cutting promos that made the crowd simultaneously boo him and secretly admire him. He was carrying that United States Championship like it was a personal trophy. He was doing Logan things. Arrogant, flashy, untouchable. And then one night, after a segment where Logan was celebrating himself in the ring, the lights went out. Now in wrestling, when the lights go out, you expect something. A dramatic entrance. A surprise return. Maybe a jump scare. But this was different. When the lights came back on, Logan was standing in the ring looking genuinely shaken. Not the performative kind of shaken that wrestlers do for the camera. Real, authentic, wide-eyed confusion. And on the mat in front of him was a single black playing card. No logo. No name. Just a card. The WWE production team played it off initially. Maybe a technical glitch. Maybe a prop from some earlier segment. But Logan Paul grabbed a microphone and said something that stuck with everyone who was watching. He looked straight into the camera with those sharp eyes and said, "Whoever you are, I know what you want. And you're not getting it." Then it happened again the next week. This time Logan was in the middle of an interview backstage with one of the WWE correspondents. Mid-sentence. Lights out. A crash. When the emergency lighting kicked in, Logan was alone in the corridor and the camera that had been recording the interview was smashed on the ground. Logan came out to the ring later that night visibly furious, demanding answers from management, demanding whoever was doing this show their face. The internet exploded. Fans were going wild with theories. Some people said it was a returning superstar looking for revenge. Some people said it was somebody Logan had crossed during his rise to the top. There were deep dive videos, forum threads, fan accounts going crazy trying to piece together clues from the background of the footage, from the card, from the timing of the attacks. And then week 3 happened. And week 3 is when things got genuinely scary. Logan was walking to the ring for a championship defense. The crowd was doing their thing, half booing, half secretly cheering because that's what Logan does to people. He gets halfway down the ramp and out of nowhere, a hooded figure drops from the ceiling rigging above the stage. Not from behind the curtain. From above. Like they had been up there the entire time, waiting, watching. The figure lands on the ramp right in front of Logan and for 1 electric second, the entire arena goes dead silent. Logan throws a punch and the figure rolls away, disappears into the shadows at the side of the stage, and by the time security rushes over, there is nothing. No trace. Just another playing card left on the ramp where the figure had stood. At this point the entire wrestling world was locked in. This was storytelling on a different level. This was the kind of narrative that makes you feel like you're watching a thriller series, not a wrestling show. The production team was doing incredible work building the atmosphere. Every time Logan appeared on screen there was this underlying tension, this feeling that something was about to happen, that the walls were closing in on the most valuable player. Logan himself became obsessed. You could see it in his demeanor. He hired personal security. He was looking over his shoulder in promos. He started getting paranoid and aggressive in ways that made his character even more compelling to watch. He confronted management again, this time more emotionally charged, saying this was a personal violation and whoever was behind it had made a powerful enemy. He pulled out the playing cards during one of his promos, laid them all out on the announce table, and looked into the camera and said, "You leave cards like you're some kind of mystery. Like I'm supposed to be scared of you. But here's the thing about mysteries. I always find the answer. And when I find you, there will be consequences. The crowd was riveted. Even people who couldn't stand Logan Paul had to admit this story had them hooked. Then came week 4 and week 5, each one adding another layer. A masked figure watching from the crowd. A distorted voice message played through the arena speakers during a Logan Paul entrance that said simply, "You know what you did." Logan's reaction to that line was priceless and raw. You could see genuine fire in his eyes. Whatever this was, it had moved from unsettling to personal. Theories were reaching peak frenzy online. The wrestling community was divided into camps. Some people were absolutely convinced it was somebody from Logan's past outside of wrestling who had made their way into the WWE universe. Some people thought it was an established superstar working in the shadows, maybe a heel looking to add a new dimension to their character. And some people, the real creative thinkers, had started looking at people who had seemingly disappeared from television over the past few months and thinking maybe somebody had been quietly training for this moment. But nobody got it right. Nobody. And that is a testament to how tightly this story was protected, how brilliantly the WWE creative team built the misdirection, and how committed every person involved was to keeping the secret. Because what happened on SmackDown this past Friday was not what anyone predicted. And it changed everything. The night started like any other SmackDown. Energy in the arena was high. The crowd was hot. Logan Paul was in the building and everyone knew it because the murmuring starts the moment his music hits. He came out early in the show for a promo segment, which immediately felt different because Logan doesn't usually open the show. He's a main event presence. Putting him at the top of the hour signals that something significant is coming. He gets in the ring and he's carrying himself differently. The usual swagger is there, but there's an undercurrent of something. He takes the microphone and he addresses the audience and the attacker directly. He says, "Weeks. I've been patient for weeks. I've let this person play their little game. I've let them have their fun. But tonight, that ends. Tonight I'm issuing a personal challenge. You want me? Come get me. Right now. Right here. In this ring. In front of all these people." The arena erupts. Even the people who were booing are leaning forward because this is the moment they've all been waiting for. Silence. Nothing happens. Logan smirks like he expected this. He starts to say something else and then the lights cut out. But this time, when they come back on, the masked figure is already in the ring, standing right behind Logan Paul, close enough to breathe on him. The arena doesn't make a sound for what feels like a full 5 seconds. Logan turns slowly. And for the first time across all of these weeks, he and this mysterious figure are face to face in the same light with the whole world watching. The figure is dressed in all black, a mask that covered the entire face. No distinguishing features, no logos, nothing that gave anything away. Logan stares at this person and something shifts in his expression, something that looks like recognition, like the pieces are clicking together in real time. And then Logan does something that nobody expected. He starts laughing, not the nervous kind of laugh. A slow, disbelieving laugh. Like somebody who has just been given the answer to a riddle they thought was impossible. He steps back, looks at the figure, and says quietly into the microphone, just loud enough for the cameras to catch, "You have got to be kidding me." The tension in that arena was physical. You could feel it through the screen. Logan reaches out and grabs the mask. The figure grabs his wrist. They struggle for a moment and then Logan breaks free and rips the mask off in one clean motion and holds it up like a trophy. The arena explodes before people even process what they're seeing because the shock hits them in waves. First confusion, then recognition, then absolute pandemonium. Standing in the ring, unmasked, staring back at Logan Paul with fire and fury in their eyes was a face that WWE fans knew extremely well. A face that had been absent from television just long enough to make people stop expecting to see it. Somebody who had a history, a complicated and dramatic history, with Logan Paul that went back further than most fans had fully connected. And as that person stood there revealed, they grabbed their own microphone that had been tucked into their jacket, and they looked at the crowd and they looked at Logan and they said 8 words that brought the entire story crashing together. 8 words that made everything make sense in the most satisfying way possible. They said, "You took everything from me. Now I take everything from you." The crowd absolutely lost their minds. The eruption in that building was the kind you feel in your chest. Because suddenly all the cards, all the shadows, all the warnings, all the attacks made perfect sense. This wasn't a random antagonist. This was someone with a grudge that had been building in the dark, someone who had taken the time to craft an entire campaign of psychological warfare against Logan Paul before striking, someone who was not just willing to fight Logan physically but to break him mentally first. Logan's reaction was electric. He stood there with the mask in his hand and you could see the wheels turning. The arrogance, the bravado, the showmanship all competed with something that might have been genuine respect or genuine fear. It was hard to tell, because Logan Paul above all things is a competitor, and he had just come face to face with somebody who had outsmarted him, outmaneuvered him, and outplayed him at his own psychological game. He slowly put the microphone back to his lips and the arena went quiet again, waiting for what he would say. And Logan Paul, always the master of a moment, delivered one of the best lines of his entire WWE career. He looked at the unmasked figure and said, "I respect the plan, but you forgot one thing. I'm Logan Paul, and I don't lose." The standoff that followed was electric. Security flooded the ring. The segment ended before any physical confrontation could take place, which was the right call because it left every single person in that arena and everyone watching at home absolutely starving for more. That is professional wrestling storytelling done at its absolute peak. The revelation, the confrontation, the verbal exchange, the cliffhanger ending, every single element landing perfectly. Backstage footage after the segment showed Logan walking through the corridor with his team, visibly wired with adrenaline. He stopped a camera, looked directly into it, and said simply, "This just got interesting," and then walked off. The wrestling community has not stopped talking since. Social media has been absolutely on fire. The reaction from fans has been overwhelmingly electric. People who had tuned out of SmackDown have been texting their friends to catch up. Casual fans have been pulled back in. This is the kind of moment that reminds everyone why professional wrestling at its best is genuinely captivating storytelling. And now the real story begins. Because unmasking someone in wrestling is never just an ending. It's a beginning. It's the moment the stakes get officially declared. It's the moment both competitors have to decide exactly what kind of war they're willing to fight. And based on everything we saw on Friday night, both of these individuals are willing to go all the way. Logan Paul now has a name to put to the shadow that's been following him. He has a face to focus his energy on, and that makes him more dangerous. But the figure who was unmasked, who had crafted this entire plan with patience and precision and psychological brilliance, they are not going to simply fold because the mask is off. If anything, the unmasking might have been part of the plan all along, a calculated moment to officially declare war on their own terms. The road ahead is going to be extraordinary to watch. And if this past Friday was any indication of what this program is going to deliver, we are in for one of the most compelling rivalries SmackDown has produced in a very long time. This is exactly why we love this sport. This is exactly why millions of people tune in week after week. Because in the world of professional wrestling, when the storytelling fires on all cylinders, when the performers are fully committed, and when the mystery finally gets its answer, there is nothing else like it on television. Nothing. Now I want to hear from you. Drop your reactions in the comments right now. What was your face when that mask came off? Were you screaming? Were you shocked? Did you see it coming or did this completely blindside you? The Wrestling Impact comment section is always the best place to break down these moments, and I genuinely love reading every single response you leave. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and join the Wrestling Impact family because we are going to be covering every single development in this story as it unfolds. We do not miss a beat on this channel. Every SmackDown, every Raw, every special event, we are here breaking it down with the passion and the detail that you deserve as a wrestling fan. And if you want to show some extra love to this video and help us keep doing what we do, hit the like button. It takes 2 seconds and it genuinely means everything to us. Share this video with your wrestling friends because trust me, this is the kind of story they need to know about. This is Wrestling Impact. Stay locked in, because the best is absolutely yet to come.